Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
No. Y'all, just
This
stop.
is a sham.
Welcome to DBL. Happy
Started the show from
Tuesday,
outside.
everybody. Yeah, I like that shot.
Somebody getting out of their car.
That was Al's point of view running to the show before we start. We're giving you a little behind the scenes.
Day, you know, it's nighttime. I move a little slow.
All right, buddy, let's get to it. Is Kourtney Kardashian a married woman? So according to TMZ, she and Travis Barker tied the knot in Vegas early Monday morning. So the couple who looked cozy on the Grammys red carpet, as you see there on Sunday, went to a wedding chapel shortly after and got married by an Elvis impersonator.
Yeah.
That seems fitting. Last October, Travis proposed to Kourtney on the beach surrounded by roses and candles, but TMZ is also reporting the couple didn't get a marriage license. They only did it for fun, but if this is true, this would seal the deal.
Yeah, but you know what they also did this for is the show. I bet they had wanted to fill some time. Like, they're still doing a Hulu show.
Oh, they're still, I thought they might have had one in the can. They're still filming, continuing filming.
I assume the seasons will continue, so this is great fodder for that. But in my head, I was like, there is no way this won't be a Kris Jenner run wedding. Kourtney deserves it. I want to see the wedding dress. I want to see Travis. I want to see like a Kardashian wedding for this. That's what I want.
So if this is true, we have a little nugget here. They didn't get a prenup, right? Because Travis, here, do you want to guess how much they're worth?
Oh, man.
Real quickly, how much do you think Kourtney's worth? This is according to Celebrity Net Worth.
I don't want to talk about anybody's money.
Okay.
It's totally not.
Celebrity network. I've seen how much I'm worth.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Me too.
Well, yeah, when you look at it, you're like, should I be worth it?
I was like, I'm not worth this money.
I did it, but there's a guitarist for the Smashing Pumpkins named Jeff Schroeder.
Right.
And my dad, my dad doesn't even go on a computer. All of a sudden he's like, "Are you worth this much money?" It was $5 million. And I'm like, "Am I worth that much money?" Absolutely not. Yeah.
Your parents quit their job.
Hey, by the way, we're moving in. But anyway, so this is Celebrity Net Worth. Kourtney is worth $65 million, and Travis is worth $50.
Oh, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
If you don't have a marriage certificate, this means butt kiss.
But but if they do, they're planning on getting a post-nup, which I didn't know was a thing.
You can do that.
Yes.
If you guys watch 90 Day Fiancé, you know that a post-nup is happening this season.
It's like
so
an
I need you guys to get on that.
Yeah.
well, as you know, my little sister Ebony, who is the only, the second to Al in terms of 90 Day Fiancé fandom, had me sit down and watch a good 3 episodes and an after show.
It's called a tell-all, but yes.
Yeah, the tell-all. Yes. So I got into it
It's
a
a
little
great
bit.
show. It really is.
How did you guys figure out your celebrity net worth? My dad texted me, how did you guys realize what your celebrity net worth was?
I think one of my siblings said something about it. Yeah, because there's like a really low number and then there's like a really high number, and they were like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm in between."
Right
in between.
Yeah, I found out because one of my I used to do that show for the BBC for years. I hosted a show on there, and one of my buddies from Scotland sent me this celebrity profile thing, and it was me. And the first couple things were right, like my name, my middle name, my parents' name, but then they just started making stuff up.
Oh, God.
Like after that, it was just like this guy, he was on Fear Factor. I'm like, what is this?
Yes.
So,
That's the most fascinating part. Like,
They make it
what?
up.
Yeah. It's kind of fun.
I was just like, I'm on Celebrity Net Worth. I'm a celebrity.
That's a good thing.
Okay.
Did you Google yourself?
I have to later. I want to now.
Oh, you have? Okay.
I
cool.
want to find out.
How much is Tori Shulman worth? Who? All right, let's move on. Is cancel culture canceled? Do I ask that all the time on the show? That's what one Fox News anchor is asking. So after Louis C.K. won a Grammy for Best Comedy Album on Sunday, Louis was canceled and cut out of comedy over sexual misconduct, but has now won a Grammy, and a lot of folks are very upset by his win. So what do you think? Is the pendulum swinging back the other way when it comes to cancel culture?
I think that there's a formula for cancel culture, and we definitely have had this discussion. How it started in terms of the most egregious acts, now it's gotten it's subjective for a lot of people.
Right.
So I think that there's a formula that includes if anybody cares. It includes what you actually did. Are there sponsors or are there fans that are continuing to support you? And if you are going to continue to put yourself out there. I think those are 4 pretty important factors that determine if you can be canceled.
Yeah, and I think you hit on the head when you look at somebody like Tucker Carlson and employ your formula. That's it. Did it affect the sponsors? Yeah. But he's not canceled because the rest of the formula is in his favor. You know, when he says something egregious, yes, they may lose sponsors. He may be put on a vacation for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But he always comes back because he's the highest rated cable show and he brings eyeballs. And the network did a formula, did some math and saying, we want his eyeballs and we'll even take the controversy that he brings. That's why he has not been canceled. But somebody on the same network had the same platform, Bill O'Reilly, after they paid out another settlement, they were like, hey, bro, we're going to need you to hand over that parking pass. And so I think there's a difference in terms of how relevant you are in terms of how much risk you're worth taking towards a company.
But remind me, was Tucker accused of sexual misconduct?
No, just being an idiot.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
just saying things.
No, I'm just saying, like,
there's definitely a difference. There's definitely
but the cancellation's kind of the same, but it can be different reasons.
Yeah, especially in this climate.
Tucker Carlson is not doing any movies in Hollywood.
Right. Right,
okay,
but I mean, you can make an argument that he's much more visible than anybody.
True, but he's got what he
LA.
does, and he sticks to his base. But I'm talking to work in Hollywood. He is never working anywhere else but Fox News in that show that he has. So in a sense, he kind of does have some limitations. Not saying canceled.
Here's my take. I think there's always been a cancel culture. I think since it's ridiculous to say people in Hollywood are now getting canceled when in the 50s, if you were communist, or are you now or have you ever been, you were immediately canceled and literally blacklisted. I agree. This cancel culture has done.
But you were entitled to your own opinion in the past.
Really.
You're not entitled to your own opinion.
Not to Joseph McCarthy in the 50s. You were taken out without any kind of recompense, without you saying anything.
There was Democrats, there was Republicans in Hollywood. There is not now
But she's
anymore.
talking about McCarthyism, which is a cancellation.
I got you. But now it's just if you voice an opinion, you are canceled.
But that's very similar to, are you now or have you been to a communist meeting? I don't want you in any movies. I'm just saying this. It has always been, that's how we came up with counterculture. Cancel culture has always been around. It's just been branded. The word cancel has been branded, and it means different things to different people, okay? Yeah. It's really subjective. And I have to be honest, cancel culture, in my mind, is suddenly realizing that homophobia, transphobia, and any kind of phobia against a marginalized group isn't great. That's a plus for me. I have no issue with that. The idea that cancel got used is wrong. I get it. But people have overdone it in terms of what they can and cannot say to push them. I hear that. But the majority, the real Harvey Weinsteins that get canceled, those type of people, I'm glad they got canceled. Bravo for cancel culture. I'm not talking about the little things that, yes, they have to fix because we're in a pendulum. I'm talking big picture. Those creeps needed out.
Well, that's right, but that's not cancel culture. That's a predator that needs to be locked up in jail.
So what do you think cancel culture is?
Cancel culture is labeling someone inaccurately and then making them pay for that the rest of their life.
Cancel culture is never accurate?
Like you have to be.
Of course cancel culture is accurate. Where Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, by the way, is on the streets, which we don't talk about, okay?
That was a legal loophole.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I'm not even going there. I'm talking about when you break the law, it's called breaking the law, not cancel culture. Harvey Weinstein broke the law. Bill Cosby broke the law.
Kramer didn't break the law.
Right, he didn't. But is it deserving what he got?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think Kramer is really the only person that we've really seen be canceled before there was a hashtag, before there was a term. Kramer, who was in everybody's face and was the face of American comedy, was gone.
But why? Because there was a camera.
But you're labeling, if I sat up here and go, listen, I don't know. Listen, I don't even want to say a topic that's controversial.
But you're not cancel culture.
But here's the thing: I don't even want to say a topic that's to even use it as an example, because then I'm labeled as such.
But see, I think you're wrong.
See, you're also talking about when this specific, and it is very specific. Again, people have to care. There has to be a level of care. Either way, if there's not, then you might just be someone who is on the outs right now until you have your redemption story. I don't think that's the same as being canceled.
Okay, I love this topic. We'll get into it much more, I think. But when you label somebody that can't get out of that hole, right, that has to go drive Uber, right, in this moment, my opinion people write into my boss. I could be canceled by our boss's boss, right? By the network.
Right,
when you assault somebody and there's a road for redemption, that's ridiculous.
But you haven't been canceled.
I haven't been canceled, but I get talking to all the time because of people writing in. But you could assault somebody and we're talking about a week later their road to redemption. It's not different. It's definitely not.
Yes, in this regard it is.
All right, we'll be right back.
Good talk.
Closed captioning provided by
Because
so
he could ball.
We're still talking about cancel culture.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a very distinct formula. I think there are people who have been, quote, people say they've been canceled, but really it's just not their time. Like everybody, who was that? Kim, not Fields, Kim,
Whitley?
say it again?
Kim Coles?
Kim Coles. She's like, everybody in Hollywood has this trajectory. Who is Kim Coles? Get me Kim Coles. Get me a cheaper version of Kim Coles. Get me a younger version of Kim Coles. Who is Kim Coles? And then you go through this whole cycle. Because the truth is, most people aren't staying on top, even if you continue to know them as household names. They may not have had a project in quite some time because all of this is very cyclical. Like what we're seeing being like the thing right now wasn't the thing 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So I think sometimes people end up in situations where they believe that they're on top, they do something that gets them into some hot water, then they can't get a job for a while, and it's called cancel culture. I don't think that's cancel culture. I think that that's just your wave that you're riding. And again, the wave will come back. Because ultimately, it's about how much people are willing to invest in care.
Okay.
So for most people, to me, it's not cancel culture.
Oh, tell people
Yeah,
so they don't know.
I know Jeff wants to say something, but like, yeah, we gotta go.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'm right behind you. Yes.
Welcome back. Hooey! Got good. It got good. All right, we're switching gears here. Some celebrities are trying out face filters on social media with some strange results. First, Madonna recently shared this video on TikTok, puckering up to the camera right there. I'm getting a look. That had fans wondering if she was using a face filter or not.
No, she wasn't.
So there is an actual Madonna filter on the app where you can transform into the 80s version of her. But as you can see, are we watching right now?
Yeah.
It's a little disturbing.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, that looks demonic in some sort of way. And Courtney Cox was less than thrilled with the Friends filter on TikTok. Let's check that out.
Hi. Really? I don't even look anything like Summer. Joey, how you doing? Ooh, he looks good with an earring. Or two. Oh, hello. Who is that? Is that Monica? Not sure. Rachel? I have no idea. This is one of the worst apps I've ever seen. Wow. Chandler has rosacea.
Wow, those are bad.
Horrendous.
I didn't think they were that bad.
You didn't think they were that bad?
I feel like
one of them looked demonic and one of them looked like the demonic other guy. I don't know. We both did some, Tori.
Yes,
so
we did.
which do we have mine first? I haven't seen mine, so I can't wait.
We have to guess which Friends character you are.
Okay, let's roll it. We'll guess which one we are.
Okay. Chandler. Ross. No, Joey? Ooh,
That's Joey.
That's Joey.
Yes, definitely. Okay.
That doesn't really. Oh God. Jennifer Aniston.
Rachel?
Phoebe? Phoebe? Monica? That looks terrible.
Yeah,
Chandler.
I think the Chandler one's the best one.
I'm not gonna lie, I like them all. I'm just kidding.
They look
that bad.
good.
Did you do one?
Yeah, I did one, and of course, I played Madonna before in a biopic, in which is 4 hours long, and I will release it on the internet. But this is the face filter. You don't have to laugh that hard.
Oh, buddy, we gotta play that.
So we can
The Legend of Madonna.
Okay. I will have that in my possession.
So when you're Googling Tori and how much she's worth, Google that as well. Let's look at this first.
Take a look at this. This is Madonna filter on Tori. It's really strong jaw. Oh,
yeah.
really?
You were way up there.
Nobody wants that. Back up. Boop, boop.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, the jaw was very square, almost like a caricature of Madonna. But I do have to bring it back to that Madonna thing. People are worried about her. A lot of people on Twitter, when she did that weird zoom in, people are concerned, and it's kind of spreading. So get ready to hear a little bit more about Madonna, because it's catching like wildfire.
I thought she might have had like a edible dinner.
Maybe you're right. That would
and just having fun like everybody else.
That would explain a lot.
Yeah.
Using the app.
Yeah.
Edible dinner. Liquid lunches and edible dinners.
Name of the game.
That should be a T-shirt. That you quitting DBL. You make so much money off that. I would wear that in two.
And we're going to put a DBL logo on it and promote our show through that. Coming up on DBL, our interview with Ricki Lake. She tells us all about what it was like being on the top talk show, or one of the top talk show hosts in the 90s.
At Verify, we answer your questions about what's true or false. One of our viewers asked us, are members of Congress allowed to hire their family members? To answer that question, we went to these sources: the United States Code of Laws, the U.S. House Ethics Manual, the Federal Election Commission, and a memo from the Department of Justice. Since 1967, the U.S. Code has banned nepotism in the federal government. It says a public official may not employ in the agency which he is serving any individual who is a relative. And it applies to executive agencies, federal courts, and legislative offices. That's Congress. Members have to submit monthly reports showing no relatives are on their staff, according to the House Ethics Manual. So, we can verify, no, members of Congress are not allowed to hire their family members to federal positions. However, they can hire them to their campaigns, and that's not exactly rare. Members of both parties occasionally have spouses or other relatives as campaign staffers. Campaigns are paid for by donations, not taxpayer money, so they're governed by different laws. Okay, now you might be thinking, well, what about the White House? Didn't President Trump hire his daughter Ivanka and his son-in-law Jared Kushner? Well, he did, and even though he didn't pay them for their roles, that's actually not why it was allowed. The Trump White House asked the Department of Justice to weigh in on the issue, and the DOJ determined that the office of the president specifically is exempt from that anti-nepotism law. The DOJ lawyer argued a different law from 1978 carved out that exception. That law states the president is authorized to appoint employees in the White House office without regard to any other law regulating employment in government service. And in fact, Trump isn't the first president to exercise that authority. President Bill Clinton appointed his wife Hillary to chair a healthcare task force in 1993. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
The truth is a hard pill to swallow, and our next guest sat down with us to talk about behind the scenes of the birth control industry, as well as her incredible on-air career. Check out our interview with the Ricki Lake. Please welcome, big round of applause for Ricki.
Yeah.
Our audience members are commenting how gorgeous and fabulous you look.
But we said that during the break.
We
Full
did.
disclosure.
We
You look
did.
amazing.
Thank you. Oh my God, I'm tired, and my hair is in a hat right now because I wore, it's all flat. But yeah, thank you. I'm 53, and I feel good about what I got going on.
I love it. I love it.
And speaking of your hair, Ricki, you've been very open about your own hair loss journey, and we just wanted to get your quick take on the whole Jada Pinkett Smith. What did you think about the joke?
I mean, to me, any joke about women's hair loss is not funny, you know, and anyone who hasn't been, when you don't struggle with that, you don't really know the pain. And I really do know Jada's pain, but what went on was so uncalled for. It was criminal. Yeah. And nothing anyone says out of their mouth deserves physical altercation ever.
Just one bad decision is terrible.
Well, speaking of your show, Ricki, big fan. I can't believe I'm talking to Ricki Lake. You debuted in 1993. You were the youngest person to ever host a talk show. Bravo. When you look back at that 1993 Ricki right there, what's going through your mind right now?
Well, to me, I just remember they wanted me to look older. They wanted me to look as mature as possible. So they put me in those big shoulder pads and they poofed my hair. I mean, they wanted to see that like I could have a little credibility by making myself look older. But yeah, I was 23 when I did the pilot, which was, we're coming up on the 30-year anniversary of the pilot.
It's hard to believe that show was on the air, for over 10 years. Like, what's the biggest difference that you see between yourself? Because it's hard to look back at yourself. Like, what's the biggest differences you see in you in those 10 years?
Huge. I mean, I have evolved. It's funny that I had that platform at such a young age because I really didn't have a sense of who I was. I was pretty, fear-filled, and I'm much more open-minded now. I'm way, for example, I think about, I made a documentary a few years ago about cannabis called Weed the People, where I focused on medicinal cannabis and children's cancer. Back then, I was a disciple of Nancy Reagan. I was like the just say no girl. I was super closed-minded and fear-filled about psychedelics and all things like that, and I've changed the course of my thinking in these later years.
Bravo. I was going to say they evolved. I think the whole world's evolved on that, hopefully. Now, you are the EP, bravo, first of all, executive producer of the documentary The Business of Birth Control. And my experience from my mom when I talk about birth control for her in the 60s is that it pushed the feminist movement so far forward because women could finally have sex on their choice for pleasure, right? So to me, as a feminist,
Absolutely.
I am so proud of the history of the pill, but I'm so interested. What was your own experience with the pill like?
Well, for me, I was on it for more than 2 decades. And for me, I now look back on my hair loss as being a huge contributing side effect to being on the pill and going off the pill. I didn't have a lot of issues with my mental state, but so many women do. And, the bottom line is we are all still taking our grandmother's pill from 60 years ago. So I think, this movie that I'm so proud of that we've taken 7 years to make, it really looks at the history of the pill, where it was studied when it was first developed. And we're so grateful to have this option, but we really think we need more options. Women suffer with, terrible side effects that they don't even know are contributed to the pill because they don't have that time with their care provider to know what the pros and cons are with all of these medications.
I'm a father of a 15-year-old daughter, so I need to know, along with the audience, like, what is the best way to protect these young women's lives? Like, just learning about this kind of stuff, and myself, because I want to be fluent when I speak with her about this.
Yeah, I think for us, we talk about, fertility awareness method, non-hormonal options that are out there. There's a whole movement with young women that don't want to be on an endocrine disruptor. They want true body autonomy. They want to understand their cycle. And there's this whole wave of young people that are learning through technology, through the apps. There's the Clue app and lots of different ways in which you could track your cycle, learn how your body works, when in fact you're fertile. And I think, when you're not relying on a big pharmaceutical, that can be super empowering for young people. We need more options.
We need more, right? Thank you.
There's that male pill, that male birth control pill coming down the pike, and I'm really, I'm cautiously optimistic. I really don't know whether men would take a pill like we've had to for forever. But I like to think, that it should maybe rely on the men somewhat, since they're the ones that can get people pregnant every day, all day, and we can only get pregnant a few days out of the month.
Amen. Thank you so much,
What a pleasure, Ricki.
So
Thank
good.
you.
Congratulations on your documentary, your marriage mazel. That will help so many. DBL Nation, you can pre-order The Business of Birth Control now. And if you're a father and don't know a lot, or a mother, this could be so educational for you. It'll be available on digital platforms starting April 8th. Ricki, such an honor.
You
really.
We're
all
huge fans.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We'll be right back. Thanks, Ricki.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Last week, the FDA approved a second COVID booster for adults over 50. The initial 2-dose COVID vaccine and now a second booster for older adults and people with compromised immune systems rolled out pretty quickly. That group is now on their 4th shot, while the youngest Americans haven't received their first shot yet. So now some parents are wondering, what's taking so long? Viewer Ann Haven wanted me to look into it. She said, my 2 children, ages 6 and 11, got the COVID shot months ago, like in December. We're still waiting for my 4-year-old to get vaccinated. Shouldn't the vaccine for kids under 5 be out already? Is there a holdup? Well, let's verify. Our sources, Dr. Christopher Ohl with Atrium Health, Wake Forest Baptist, and Dr. Janet Woodcock, the FDA's acting commissioner. We'll start with the FDA and the 4,500 children as young as 6 months that are enrolled in Pfizer's COVID vaccine study. The initial data shows the children were either given a placebo or 2 doses lower than 3 micrograms. The children in the study who had the 2 doses tolerated them, and Pfizer planned to seek emergency use authorization in February. But Pfizer decided to push that back until they received the full data after 3 doses. That data is expected this month. Now, Dr. Woodcock is the FDA's acting commissioner and confirmed it was Pfizer's decision to wait for the full results of the 3-dose study, which should be available by April. Dr. Ohl explained why waiting for all the data is so important.
The antibodies that were developed, instead of going up to here, went up to here. And so the antibody response to the 2-shot series in the youngest kids wasn't as high as what we would have hoped as it was for the older kids.
So we can verify, yes, originally Pfizer planned to seek emergency use authorization in February. And yes, there is a delay in the vaccine for the nation's youngest Americans. That delay could end any day now, since the data from the 3rd dose is set to be collected this month.
President Joe Biden unveiled his budget proposal earlier this week. Shortly afterwards, he posted this tweet, quote, "This year, my administration is on track to cut the deficit by more than $1.3 trillion. That would be the largest one-year reduction in the deficit in U.S. history." So let's verify. Would a $1.3 trillion reduction in the deficit be the largest single-year reduction ever? We looked at data from the Federal Reserve and the Congressional Budget Office. Both agencies track every year how much the federal government takes in and how much it spends. The difference between those numbers comes out either as a surplus or, more commonly, a deficit. The Fed has numbers going back to 1901, the CBO to 1962. Both sets of data show that the largest one-year reduction in the deficit ever was in 2013. That year, the deficit shrank by $396 billion. That's a lot, but still nowhere near the $1.3 trillion decrease Biden projected. So we can verify, yes, if the deficit shrinks by $1.3 trillion this year, that will be the largest single-year reduction in history. With your Fast Fact, I'm Casey Decker.
Welcome back. Many Americans gained weight during the pandemic because of stress and staying in. That's today's Focus on Fitness, presented by QB. So 16 states now have obesity rates of 35% or higher. That's an increase of 4 states. Delaware, I'm in Delaware. Iowa, Ohio, and Texas. Thanks for getting that joke. In just 1 year, however, physical activity can help you lose the weight. QB is a great way to get some quick exercise. Try their under-desk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-556-2089 or visit QB.com to learn more. And speaking of learning more, we Googled Tori Showman's net worth. And? $3 million. $4 million per year. I'm doing a walkout if that's true. I won't see you tomorrow. I definitely will not see you tomorrow if this is true.